Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal's space program, where here we are with Apollo 15 in the moon's east crater. We're of course going to gather all of our data up here that we can, and then we'll have Doni EVA here. Perfect. We're going to grab our EVA report and our surface sample, and we're going to restore our mystery goo containment unit. This is the same steps that we took in the previous flights, of course. And this will be getting some variation in the next flight, absolutely. This is the last one that is going to be these particular steps, so we will observe the mystery goo again here, and we're going to head on over... There we go. Head on over to the Science Junior, and we're going to restore that, and conduct the materials study. Excellent. So we'll keep that experiment, collect the data, restore, and one more time. There we go. So this is, of course, going to be a lot of data, right? There's no doubt about that. We'll keep that experiment. And we're just going to head on back around here. And inward we go. There we go. So we're going to hop back out with Doni again, of course, because we can get another surface sample. Let's collect any of the data that we can up here, but of course not everything can be stored there. So we're going to grab our surface sample, hop back in, and now that's all of the collectible data that we have here. So we now need to do our deployables. So we're going to hop on down here, and since we've done this at this point a couple of times, I think I'm probably going to cut out this process. It's a little bit tedious, but we should certainly grab the EVA science kit. Oh, right. First things first. We need to get this parachute off of here. RCS on, please. And we're going to put our parachute up here for the time being. There we go. Now we can grab an EVA science kit and perform our EVA science. Perfect. So here's our science. Science has been engaged, and science completed. Phenomenal. Doni is very happy about his science. So we'll keep that experiment, and we are going to do something like, where do we need to put this? We need to put this here, and then this guy can go back in here. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to cut out the actual setup process here. It's kind of tedious. We've done it a couple times. See you guys in just a moment. Okay, so here we are with our science station setup. We just need to do the lights still, so let's get those on here. I want to do this. It's so weird that these get placed backward, but okay. We'll place that there, and... Did that get both of them? One of them just disappeared on us. I'm going to pick this one up. I had both of them in our inventory just a moment ago. Okay, I guess we only get one light here. Good thing it doesn't actually matter. Okay, one light is fine. So, JLHNIK to rotate. Okay, sure. I guess that works. So we can do something along the lines of that. Only one light here because the other one just got eaten by the Kraken, so I guess that's fine. I have no idea where that other light went. It clearly disappeared into the ether, so that's okay. We're going to plant a flag right here. The light is just cosmetic, right? It doesn't actually matter. So Doni's going to plant a flag. Fantastic. And just to confirm that these are all done here, we want to grab our EVA kit for sure. Empty, empty. Yeah, these are as they should be. And empty. Fantastic. Okay, so up we go. And Doni is now done on the moon. So we're going to be hopping in here. And, well, I mean, we should be doing this. I mean, technically, we now have an extra parachute. There is that. Well, it's fine. It doesn't really matter at all. So that's okay. We're going to have Billtop, then EVA. And Billtop, of course, is going to also do a flag, right? So that's going to be for the purposes of experience. And we're going to take this flag down, and we're going to put up our own flag. Excellent. Billtop is kind of a strange duck. And so is naming this flag Strange Duck 1. I don't have any explanation for Billtop's actions here, but he's on the moon. Who's going to stop him? Not me. That's for sure. So we're going to turn RCS on here, and SAS should be on as well. Buildtop is now ready to go. Now, I should point out at the very tail end of the last episode, we did move the fuel in up here. I did not forget to do that. So we have a tiny amount of fuel left down here. How much burn time is that? 10 seconds of burn time left down here. Okay, so we didn't actually dip into any of our liftoff fuel, so that's great. We do need to shut down this engine. We're going to throttle up, SAS on, and we're actually kind of close to the 90-degree marker here, so that's nice. We're still going to have some offset thrust, of course, due to our Radial Science Junior, so it'll be a little bit of a struggle here. What is our actual thrust to weight here? 6.51. We could think about thrust limiting this down a bit, down to like maybe 20% thrust. 1.3, that's maybe a little low. Let's see how it feels at around 25% thrust. 1.6? Okay. It's going to be a little slower than we're used to, but hopefully it's not going to go nearly as far off due to the offset thrust. Okay, let's go. That is definitely a lot slower than we're used to. It's also quite a lot more stable. I want to get more altitude here. Let's get some altitude. Let's try turning this up to around 30% thrust, see how that feels. We're not really drifting. We're not really drifting at all. Okay, so SAS is successfully holding us in position here. That seems fine. Here, we absolutely are drifting, which is relatively expected, I suppose. But we're just going to park here until the prograde marker comes on over, and then we'll just lock to prograde. Yeah, this is fine. I don't actually want the thrust limited all that much. That would be pretty slow to get us to where we need to go. No doubt about that. So at this point, I'm just going to lock to the prograde marker, and we know our inclination is a little bit off here. 8.6 degrees, though. We did do an inclination change, so no matter what, we're going to need to change our inclination on the way back. I think this is fine. Okay, we're currently coming up on about 30 kilometers. We can definitely turn this engine off at this moment, and we don't need to be tracking all of this debris. We really should clean that up at some point, but that sounds like work. So we're going to do something along the lines of this for circularization, and of course we're going to have to do an inclination change. Okay, it really doesn't like doing this. It's fine. It doesn't actually matter. So here in about 6 minutes, actually closer to 7, we're going to be doing our circularization burn here. Let's warp on up. Beautiful. So off we go from the moon. About 1 minute to go until our circularization burn here. 40 seconds. Hello. Don't go ahead and EVA, grab that extra 24 science. Twin craters, we hadn't been here yet. Fantastic. We should probably do an orbit on this inclination just to make sure. So, okay, we'll just start this on up. This is just a prograde burn. Okay, this is good enough on the orbital front. It'll do. So no problem whatsoever there. We can then just put in a marker here, and we can just warp our way around to that marker and see if we get any additional EVA science. Since we are on a slightly unusual inclination, we might be able to get some additional EVA science. East Farside Crater, nothing from that. Highlands, we've got Midlands, Lowlands. No shockers on any of that. Farside Crater. Okay. Doesn't look like we're going to get anything else so far. 7 minutes. 2 minutes. Okay, so that's it. That's all we're going to get. That's fine. I just wanted to double check that. So we'll set Apollo 15 as our target here. And of course, we're going to head on over this direct. No, don't warp there. Stop it. Stop it. Okay, we're going to add a maneuver here. And we are going to do our inclination change. It's a pretty hefty inclination change, really. Okay, so about here. Looks good. That'll do. And we'll just head on over to that point. Of course, holding attitude there is going to be interesting. Let's bring this down to 30% on the thrust limit. Maybe even closer to 10. Just so that we can hold attitude here. 1 minute burn time seems marginally acceptable. Okay, so we're going to warp forward a little further. We've got about 1 minute until this burn starts up. Now we've got about 40 seconds, 30, 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Excellent. We can't hold attitude here at this point. Poor Billtop doesn't have enough XP yet, so that's fine. But this is going to be a relatively lengthy burn here because of our thrust limiting, which is not... Ooh, that's very sensitive. Okay. That's not really surprising. Let's just angle this outside of physics warp. That would be helpful. There we go. About 10 seconds left on this burn. It looks fine. We should definitely be getting close enough with this. 0.3 meters per second off. Okay, this is close enough. We'll call that good. So we're going to add a maneuver here. Well, not really here. Let's see what it looks like over here. Okay, we might need to add an orbit, or two. Looks like one orbit. But then another one over here, potentially. Yeah, something along the lines of this is looking decent. So a couple of phasing orbits here, nothing too major. 0.2 kilometers apart, we can work with that. So that's absolutely fine. Let's unthrust limit this at this point. It is going to be kind of wild to hold attitude, but that's fine. And we're going to warp on over. Actually, let's not unthrust limit this. Not yet. We're going to want to unthrust limit it, but this is not the time quite yet. So we're going to bring this to about 20% thrust. That means it's going to be a 14-second burn. That's really not a concern. So we're going to warp forward a little bit here. 30 seconds, 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Cool. It's a pure prograde burn, so we can just lock to prograde for now. And we'll bring this on up. And this should get us close enough. We'll do some additional burns later on. Okay. This is looking about right here. 0.9 kilometers? Yeah, we can work with that. So we're going to warp to about here. And upwards we go. So we currently see that our target location is here. About 20 kilometers away. That's all looking fine. We want to be over in 32.8. Okay, so we want to be on the prograde side here. Gotcha. So we're going to want to pull the marker up over this direction. We're doing our corrections with the reduced thrust for now, but we're going to want to change that soon. I overshot this a little bit, but that's okay. We'll do another correction a little closer in on the retrograde side. So at this point, we're going to warp up over here. And I do also want to unthrust limit this, just in case. Okay. We're going to push this node on over. We're actually holding attitude quite well, so that's good. Okay. Small corrective burn there. Looks reasonable for the time being. We're 6.8 kilometers out right now. This is saying 2.5 kilometers. We'll see how real that actually is. But let's warp ahead about another 3 minutes here. Yeah, we can see that this is definitely moving a little ways apart, for sure. So we're going to do a corrective burn around here. And then another one about here. Okay. That gets us very, very close. 0.1 kilometers, allegedly. We're only moving in at 10 meters per second right now. So let's warp this right on in here. Cool. Let's do one final corrective burn about here or so. There we go. 7 meters per second. We'll lock to retrograde now. Looks like we're going to be coming in at a really, really nice angle here. I like it. So we're going to try to put ourselves right in front of this docking port. This angle looks good. I'm quite pleased with it, actually. Well, never mind. I think we might actually be on an impact trajectory. Let's slow this right on down and make sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this would have been an impact trajectory now. It's close, but I think it would have been an impact trajectory. Good thing we slowed it down. So we're about 30 meters out right now. That seems reasonably fine. Just bringing it on in ever so slightly here. Now we're going to slow it on down. There we go. So about 20 meters apart, and now we're going to point at the target, although the target should be this Clampatron docking port now. And we'll, of course, have to line up over here. So set as target, and let's slowly... Actually, we should jettison this. That's something we never actually did. So we'll jettison that. There we go. And now we'll head on over. This is extra fuel that we could use to go elsewhere, but for now, this will do. For the record, this would be very, very capable of landing on Minmus. Of course, in reality, there is no Minmus. So we're going to position about here. Let's just get a second positioning. There we go. And we'll call that good. RCS on. And H to go up inward here a little bit. I do want to adjust our velocity ever so slightly here. And adjusting our heading a little bit. Very minor tweaks to the velocity here. And decelerating slightly. Cool. This should be a relatively clean docking. In theory. There we go. And we're docked up. So, as usual, we're going to grab our science here. This is definitely feeling really routine. We're going to collect all of this. And I'm realizing we didn't bring the magnetometer, did we? Luckily, we're going to be coming out here again, so we'll get magnetometer data. That's not a big deal. So that's all of our data collected at this point, and now we can transfer our crew back on over. I just tried to transfer somebody. I'm not sure who. It was Donnie. I tried to transfer him to the parachute. Good thing that didn't go. Okay, we're going to transfer over to the command pod. And we're now done with the lander. So we're going to undock here, of course. And out we go. Where are we in relation to Kerbin? Kerbin's over here. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit. Gotcha. So sometime around here is when we're going to want to do our prograde burn. And just push our way on out of here, like so. And then just bring this straight on down. Beautiful. Getting us a return trajectory of about 40 kilometers. We'll fine-tune that on the way in, as we have been. Everything is going very according to plan here, so that is good. So we'll align to this. There we go. And let's warp. Goodbye, trash that we're leaving in orbit. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. No one will ever impact that in the future, for sure. Of course, in reality, eventually the irregularities on the lunar surface will deorbit it, but that's not how it works in KSP. So we've got about 10 seconds here. 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. And this is about a 45-second burn here to return to Kerbin. Cool. So back we come. 100 meters per second to go. 50 meters per second, coming out of physics warp here. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. This is good enough. We'll be fine-tuning our re-entry when we come in anyway. 33 kilometers seems reasonably fine, so sometime around here, we'll do a big ol' retrograde burn. And toss in some radial as well, of course. To be somewhere around... This is actually looking really good. Somewhere around here. Yeah, that looks almost ideal. Possibly going to be coming down on the ocean, but I have no idea what our timing is going to look like once we come in a day. Yeah, that's going to be 1 day, 4 hours. So this is going to be substantially different at that point. We'll see if we're coming down in the ocean or not. We're not really timing it for that. So let's get into position here and let's warp. Okay, we're zoning into the Kerbin sphere. Can we stop that, please? I don't actually want to be following whatever we're following here. Let's focus Kerbin. Thank you very much. So we're currently falling towards Kerbin. There we go. And we'll see what this ends up looking like. Remember, a Kerbin day is 6 hours. So this was like 1 2/3 days that we warped here. And yeah, now it looks like we're likely going to be coming down over the ocean, but or rather over this land. Well, actually, it might be over this ocean. We'll see what it ends up looking like. Okay, we've got about 30 seconds until our re-entry burn here. 20, 10, and 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Now, to be clear, if we wanted to specifically target our landing site, we absolutely could do that. The way we do that is we just have this apoapsis, or rather this periapsis, I should say, be a little bit higher here. And this would end up just putting us into a, like, 72, 73 kilometer orbit, something like that, and then we'd just pick our landing site with that. It would be an extra burn or two. It's just a little faster to do it this way, right? And we don't actually care whether we come down on the land or sea, but to be clear, in reality, they did care. Absolutely, they cared. It needed to be a sea landing. The Apollo capsule did not support land landings. If it landed on land, bad things, I'm assuming, happened. I don't think they ever tried it. And they probably shouldn't. So we've got about 2 minutes left in this burn. We'll physics warp it. And that seems absolutely fine. 500 meters per second. We're a little off of our node right now. 400 meters per second. We are now in atmosphere. So let's come out of physics warp and just angle this a little bit more correctly. There we go. And this is wrong. We're not going to run out of fuel before we finish this burn. That's definitely not a thing that's going to happen. We can see here our periapsis height is currently quite high. That will start to go down a lot as we get towards the ending portion of this burn. We can see it is now starting to decline. Cool. So that's looking fine. Keeping an eye on this periapsis height, we are looking for that to be reaching about 10 kilometers. Okay, 8 kilometers is fine. We're going to hop over to retrograde, and we're going to ditch our engine section, what we're calling the service module. Off it goes, and we're headed down. So now the question is, are we going to overshoot this continent? And honestly, I think the odds of that are maybe okay. Maybe okay. We'll see. We're covering a lot of space right now, but our drag is very high due to this heat shield. We'll see. If we really wanted to overshoot it, maybe we should have set our periapsis to be like 20 or 30 kilometers. That would have been, I think, much more likely to overshoot. As it is, this is reasonably fine. I think we're probably... possibly going to overshoot. I don't know. This is really dicey. This is really dicey. I don't know. It's going to be close. I guess we'll find out. We're moving pretty quick still, but we are losing speed at this juncture precipitously. But it's going to be close. Coming down at this trajectory, if we were, you know, just slightly over there, it definitely would be water. As it is, I don't know. We're coming out of physics warp because we were drifting off there. I think it is going to just barely be land. It's currently shores biome. Yeah, it's going to be land. Okay. Well, that's fine. It was close. Considering we didn't really aim it, I'm okay with that. Drogues out and main out. Or rather, mains, plural, because we do have 2 of them. We no longer need SAS on, since the parachutes will handle that for us. Of course, this is going to be absolutely fine to land here on land for us. In KSP, it doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and get our payment now while I'm thinking about it, because I have a tendency to forget that. There we go. So this is absolutely guaranteed to be okay at this juncture. No issues whatsoever here. We've done this sort of landing before. At the very worst, we'll lose our heat shield, and that's not a big deal. So downward we float here. Let me mark Apollo 15 off on the list. And Apollo 16 is going to be the next one. For that, of course, we need to bring a rover. I was hoping by cutting out some of the base setup, we would have time to design the rover at the tail end of this episode. It looks like that's not quite the case. We may have to have one of the episodes be slightly longer in Apollo 16. That's probably okay. I don't mind that. So there's our landing, and we'll grab our mystery goo observation since we can do that, and we'll just recover this. Phenomenal. So that's going to be a lot of science, right? We're going to get like another 500-600 out of that. Actually, we got that EVA report as well, so that'll be another 24. It'll be a decent amount. No doubt about that. So we'll be able to get some science out of it. I think we have what we need for the rover, but let's save the science that we get out of this for now until we know whether we need anything else for the rover or not. Because getting the rover going for Apollo 16 and 17 is absolutely the next priority. So we got 484.7 science out of that. Okay, sounds good. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to design the rover and send off Apollo 16. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.